Hello, Divine Sunshiners. This is Divine Sunshine. If you would like a reading with me, go to my website, www.divinetwinsoul11.com. Go to my services page, click on the book online, and it will give you a appointment online book in which resource in which you'll be able to go there and book online. I'm not doing any specials for the month of April. I'm kind of booked with my own personal life things that I have to do, and so I really have not did any kind of specials. Most time I do specials like I got a lot of time to kind of kick around, but this time I don't pretty much have that much kick around time in the month of April, which is going out. So we're going into the month of May. That's a good segue into, if you want to go on my Instagram, you can go to, Instago, sorry, Instago, you can go to, it's go divinetwinsoul11.com. You can go there to get either a reading via a question or a video, or either you can call by phone. Those are the other ways that you can reach me as well. I'm in the works. I think in June I'm going to add in another layer. I'll wait to make the announcement about that as far as why you can get readings with me. But I will start. That's something that I want to start in the month of June, and I will release that and let you know what I want to do. Okay, so in this beginning part is going to be pretty much a rant, pretty much of some things that I think it's time for us to have. They used to have it on Saturday Night Live. It was a coffee talk, some kind of chat, when it was like, they would do this and they say, ooh, for clamps and stuff like that. So I think that us as twin flames, we need to have like a little fireside chat about what's going on. We experienced a full moon this weekend. That full moon is bringing about a kind of like a death to some of us, and pretty much a rebirth. It's a new beginnings. It ends the month of April, which was the month in which had to do with the healing of the heart. And now we are moving into May, which is the month of communications. Communicating and the different ways in which your senses. I got this from House of Items Elizabeth. She was stating that we'll find ourselves pretty much communicating differently, and that also that our senses will change, mostly like the sense of taste. We pretty much probably have, many of us have experienced that on this journey. I used to be a sweet freak. I mean, anything that's sweet, I love it. I mean, chocolate, chocolate cake. I mean, it wasn't definitely enough for me. I could get down. Here lately, if things are too sweet, I can't get with it. I'm like, oh, yick. Because I remember I went to Meyer and I had gotten some kind of, that's a grocery store chain here, and I had gotten some, I wanted to taste for a nice little cupcake with some vanilla icing on it, and this yellow filling. And then I was like, I tasted it. I said, oh, Lord, this is too sweet. I can't think. But I mean, back in the day, I remember I would love me some cake that would taste in that kind of manner. But I'm like, I can't get with this no more. It's too sweet. So you will see also changes that way. And then you also will be able to, she was saying, since through your taste, also your twin. So like maybe you might have, like, I know, like the other day, no, this morning, stop lying. This morning, I could taste cigarettes like all in my chest, in my lungs. And I was like, okay. And I mean, to me, it was feeling good, but I don't smoke. I don't smoke at all. But he does. And I could just feel the sensation of just the air of cigarettes or whatever it is. He might be smoking a cigar. Knowing him, maybe he might be back on the cigarettes. I don't know. Doing that. And I could just feel that sensation of like my lungs just filling up with cigar smoke. This was intense cigar smoke, and loving it at the same time. And so those are some things that you might even experience, like sense of smells, things a little bit more heightened senses, that one. So taste, where you communicate, because you were saying that the throat and the nose is pretty much, ears, nose, and throat, all of that is connected together. And so those sensories might become heightened as well. One thing I want to go back, and I call it almost like TalkSoup. Remember, it used to be on one of it was the E channel, entertainment channel, where they used to go through all the different shows, and they would give you kind of a plug about what's going on in all different shows. So these are all the videos that I have watched, and these are some takeaways that I had gotten with, and so I want to pass it on to you. I know because some of you all probably don't have the time to do it, but I'm either listening to videos on my way to work, or I'm listening to videos just to kind of get like a form of reference, as a resource to see, are we all pretty much saying the same thing? We all are pretty much saying the same thing, just like I did my last reading with you all, is that we got to seriously surrender to the process. We can't do the fakey stuff anymore if we truly want union. We've got to really, if things are not going our way, we got to stop looking on Facebook, seeing what they're doing, to ask friends what our counterparts are doing. We've got to really, or keep on harboring and having, thoughts of negativity, or yeah, it's going to work, next minute, no, it's not. Yeah, it's going to work, next minute, no, it's not. We've got to really, truly give total surrender to it. All of the readings, videos are pretty much saying the same thing about that. They all are stressing that we need to become conceited about ourselves. What does that mean? That means we've got to really give ourselves a pat on the back. I know a lot of us, we like to be humble. It's very hard. I know I was in the webinar about the empaths, and she was saying we're just really, as empaths, are very humble. We can't really go into the ego state. Ego state to us is really pretty much bad. And we've got to kind of get to that point that we got to toot our own horn and be proud of it. It's a difference in egos. There's an unhealthy ego and there's a healthy ego. Healthy ego is that one to kind of push you on. It's like, okay, great job, yeah. You really did your thing. Oh, your hair is looking cute today, And then like the bad ego be like, oh, okay, my hair look cute. My hair look cuter, finer than her. They say I look like Mary J. Blige, but shit, I look better than Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige got all them issues. See, no, you didn't went over into the bad ego things. Now, just stick with your hair is cute, and then that's it. So we've got to be able to really toot our own horn, lift our own selves up. Another thing that I'm seeing is we have to be okay in the way the masculine presents himself. We are, a lot of them, all of them are saying we're on the cusp of union. We're on the cusp of union. We know that we can't get to the point that we have expectations. When we have expectations, we really cut off the way that the universe presents it to us. I always remember, I'm sorry about what happened to Bill Cosby, but I know many of us have our own kind of things about it, but I always do remember, my mom always had taught me this, that it don't matter about what the messages say, it's the message. Every crack addict knows what's right and wrong, and it doesn't matter about, I know what he had done, but however, I always remember that he had that lesson on the Cosby Show when he had told Theo about that. He said, hey, he said, what about if I had this porterhouse steak with onions, mushrooms, and he's like, his mouth went, he said, yeah, he said, you want some baked potato? Yeah, I want baked potato. Put some sour cream, some butter on it. He's like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. He said, how about, but what if I served it on to you on the garbage tin lid? And he's like, I don't want that. Malcolm was like, I don't Theo, I don't want that. He said, okay, so we've got to get to the point of that, although the universe to us might be serving the masculine on that garbage can lid or that tin lid or whatever, we've got to get to the point that, okay, it's still a meal. We don't know if they clean the garbage can lid, but he might come to us in a way that we're not really open, or what we have really had seen him coming. We looking for him to come like Fabio on the horse, apologizing. I'm sorry, I'm sorry I left you at the club when Shaquita came, and if I could go back in time and take that back for when I left you at the club for Shaquita, I would. Please forgive me. Okay. Your divine masculine might not even come with that at all. I know even with my divine masculine, he is not that one or the emotions, because first of all, he air sign. But anyway, he's just not gonna come with that. You have to, and this is from the Indian lady again, not Naigain. I know I done messed the name up, and I already had a viewer tell me what it is, but I'll learn it. With her, she was stating that we can't keep on looking for our masculines to come in a certain type of way when they come back. We're blocking we're blocking it. We're blocking our vibrations as far as meeting them where they are. We've got to come to that point where, as you know, if he does not come and say all those words, please forgive me, on his knees begging and snot rolling down his nose like Viola Davis from How to Get Away from Murder. And it's just tears, and you like, oh my God, now I know I'm going to take him back, because he got the snot bubbles coming, and oh my God, he truly is my divine master. He might not come there. He might just say, like she said, he might come there with a single rose, no kind of communication, no nothing. Or he might come and just flirt, and you're like, what in the world? I ain't seen you in 5 years, and you coming up here with these corny one-liners, and you're like, okay, like, really, this is how you coming back to me? Well, has that been the way he's been communicating with you all along? If so, then that's his way of speaking love. Like they had the 5 languages of love thing. And I think I talked about that earlier in the beginning when I started off with my videos. You've got to learn how to be, the book for dummies, Divine Masculine Communication for Dummies. You've got to sit there and really, my mom's always told me that, you got to sit there and really study a person. You got to really sit there and study your divine masculine and really search your heart. Okay, when he's coming this way, is that way? Because I know, like, even when talking to my divine masculine here lately, and then I was like, okay, interesting. She said that also they'll come a little weird. Something about the way they present themselves. If you got someone that's coming back into communication with you, it's going to be a little awkward. Yeah, it was a little awkward. And I kind of wasn't understanding, like, okay, you coming like this? Okay, all right. But you got this going on in your life, but you still coming to me like this? Okay. So, it kind of it takes you back a little bit. But then at the same time, you got to, at all times, you got to remember, this is your other half. And that's another thing, a point that was brought to me. We've got to stop saying that it's them doing this. Remember that the divine masculine or your divine feminine, whoever counterpart of relationship that you're in right now, if you consider the ones that's in the trenches or the one who's out there on the battlefield, getting with the karmics, battling with getting the lessons from the karmics or whatever it is. Either way, in the trenches, which I call the person, that's another way I call it, for the ones who is the one who is staying there. And then you got the ones who's out there and run in the field. Those are the runners. Either way it goes, with them, they are still our counterpart. They're still our mirror reflection of who we are. And so I wanted to bring to you all a exercise that I would like for some of my subscribers to do or viewers to do. I want you to really get serious one day that you have time and just really get out a piece of paper, put on one side them, your divine, whoever they are, if they're the divine masculine or if that's your divine feminine, and the other side you or me. On this side, I want you to list everything that bothers you about your divine masculine in this divine twin journey. Everything. Just list it all down. Okay. And then I want you to get really serious, honestly. Remember, you're the only one that's able to see this paper. I want you to really get serious and say, what do you see of those things that you don't like is in you. Like mine doesn't communicate. Well, okay. Certain things you might say, well, you look like you talkative here. Okay. But when it comes to the thing of relationships or intimacy with me or sharing my exposing myself, those innermost parts, no, I wouldn't say that I would be an open book all the time. Okay. That's us. We are mirroring each other. He doesn't do outside talking to me externally. The communications, he don't know how to talk. Me internally, I don't know how to express what's going on inside. Okay, you might say, well, it's the same thing. Okay, we are both mirroring each other. Okay, so in that sense, so again, I liked how a lot of them saying we've got to. I forgot who that was. That Pisces something. She was saying, we've got to stop Pisces intuition. I think that's her name. We've got to get stopped in that. That's our divine masculine. Like we up here, we got it. We awoke, we awaken, and they still sleeping, and that's them. That's their issue. God bless them, give them the sign of Claus. Maybe someday they'll wake up. Okay, but that is not, that's not the case. That's us too. If they're somewhere, if they're asleep, then some parts of us sleep, and we got to remember that, we carry on both sides, duality, with that, and certain days we'll switch, like Elizabeth had said from House Items, we'll switch. Like here lately, me taking on business at work, with my school, everything. I felt more divine masculine. I've even felt myself, even in my dress, seemed like to me that I have showed that. I had one day I said, I think I want to be a girly girl. And so I did do that. But here, I just like, I want to throw some jeans on, some sneakers on, and my shirt. And then I'm out here, out and about, and so then that kind of reflects what's going on in my world. But we got to learn how to balance it. So she was saying that a lot of times when we're in our divine masculine, they're in a divine feminine, and when they're in their and when we're in our divine feminine, they're in their divine masculine. We mirror and opposite each other. Stand up for yourself. Be the authentic you. You've got to be the authentic you, okay? You cannot sugarcoat it. Now, I've noticed that when I have came to the point that I have actually stood up for myself, I had actually had said, no to things, stand up to family members, like, no, this is how it's going to be X, Y, and Z. Even stood up to my divine masculine and saying, you know what, today I can't lie and say, that this is X, Y, and Z is going on. I got to tell you the truth, and so he's manifested things when you really your authentic self and you really being vulnerable. That is when things become the shift, and we've got to come to that point where we are really truly our authentic self. Okay. Another one I had seen was Awakened Warrior. She brought up a very good point, and I remembered about us wanting to be here on Earth. She stated that it's a lot of us that are twin flames, that every time when we wake up in the morning, we come from that being in the ethereal setting of going back and being with the angels and our divine, and being visiting, you want to say the heaven kind of consciousness or sensory, has pretty much had brought us, that some of us have felt like we don't want to be, we felt coming back, we don't want to be here. That brings back a memory of me when I was small, and I had told my mom, I said, ooh, I forgot how hard it is here. My mom looked at me and said, okay. And I remember to this day, she always throws that back. She said, I never, and she said, you said it with your little maybe 4-year-old body, like you had been here for centuries, and like it is the tide of all the different lifetimes that you had lived. was just a little weight on your little shoulders, and that 4-year-old little body said, I forgot how hard it is here. And that's true. I have. It's days that I've walked around that I felt like I didn't want to be here. You say, oh, not divine sunshine. Yes, even divine sunshine. Some days I would have to talk to myself to say, okay, get out of bed. Okay, let's face the day. And I'm like, this feel like Groundhog Day. It's the same thing over and over again. I don't see nothing different. Same issues here with divine masculine, or my divine twin. Why am I here? Well, she was saying in some ways when you have that kind of things, you are cutting off the connection between you and your divine counterpart. You've got to come to the point where you are happy in being here on earth. You got to remember that we are what? Divine. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We have to come to the point where every day is a blessing. We've got to live in the present, in the now. Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future. We have to live in the now. And a lot of times with me as an Aries, we're always looking fast forward. We're forward thinkers. Okay, what about this? And he does this, and I'll be able to do this and that and that. No, that's a way to wreck yourself, because if you look in the past, you become depressed. And if you look in the future, you become anxious. You got to live in the now. I remember reading that somewhere. We have to keep an open mind about things. We got to keep an open mind about how things are going to occur with this divine twin journey. We just really got to keep an open mind about this. This is new. Although many of us have mastered this before in many lifetimes, we're coming back again to do it now. And we clearly have forgotten what we have done. But we have to remember to keep an open mind. We are the carriers of the new template for how to love, how to have relationships, how to see things, and in the new world. And so with that means we're going to have to do some things that are going to be out of the box. It's not going to be the norm of things that we're used to as far as in relationships, how it should look. We might find ourselves doing things as far as love and being in relationships that have to deal with what's good for us. As long as it, like her mom would say, as long as it ain't hurting nobody, that's the main point. If it feels good to you and it feels like you're doing the right thing and it's not harming anybody in the process, then that's what you should be doing. And so that's keeping an open mind about how things are going to work out. Just live your life in the present. Don't expect anything. Don't expect anything for your twin. All you can do is, like everybody says, all you can change is yourself. You cannot change anybody else. Although we always saying the divine feminine is the one who carries on the relationship. However, if you change yourself, you draw all those other things unto you. Okay, so within, so without. We have to, I always say about communications. The one thing, and then I'm going to close out because this is not my regular, this is a fireside chat. Most time I don't get too many people listening, but those of you ought to get my pearls of wisdom. This is good kudos, good stuff for you. So it means that you were supposed to come and listen in on this, and you needed this fireside chat so you can move on into your next level. Another thing is, we're getting to the point, we're getting these karmics too much power. We really are. These karmic situations that our twin flame counterparts are in. I've gotten even to the point I had to talk to myself because I know the make and model of my twins karmic. And every time I see the emblem, I'm almost shaking. I was at the point I was shaking and quaking because it would just trigger me every time I seen it. You know that's bad. You on the highway and you seeing that emblem, that car from that person, and then they trigger you each time you see it. Heck, you went to the nut house each time. So it came to me. I said, I'm having an aha moment. We giving them too much power. we get into too much power in the negative as far as this the fear factor. That fear factor, we got to take that back. And I've also had seen on a video where they were stating that the karmics, some karmics, if you're in the entities and you believe that they were saying how they were feeding off of the ciphering, off of the love between the twins. And that's why sometimes you feel like extremely tired, extremely tired from it. You know, they're trying to make it at the point that you just don't want to be in it anymore, that you have this taste for it, you know, for the whole situation. And so that got me to thinking that, okay, they hitting this, according to them, if you go by the video, they hitting you two ways. They ciphering your love, that's a positive, and they doing your fear. So if you're feeding into the love thing with them, and then on the top of that, you're having fear about, oh my God, this is going to happen. What if this manifests? What if they marry? What if they have a child? Oh my God, you know, what is this and that? And then, you know, it's this extra feeding. It's like a ball, like a continuous, I'm seeing like a snowball going downhill from there, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. How do we stop doing that? Is that we stop feeding it, you know. It's just like if you feed cats or whatever, you continue to keep on doing that, they're going to keep on coming around. You know, they're going to think of thinking you the source of food. We've got to get to the point that we cannot continue to give the power to the karmics. They're doing their job. Again, we got to remember, and I know it's hard because I even myself saying that we sat down at the beginning of time that said and mapped out this whole thing about who's going to play what part, what role, who signed up for it, whatever. Okay? The job, again, we have to remember the job of the karmic relationship between the divine is to get the lesson and get the blessing and get out. It's not ever for them to stay. Now, why they stay in there longer than they should be is because somebody ain't getting the lesson. But the thing is, these karmic relationships can last as long as the person's consciousness wants it to be. Okay? It can last as 1 day, 1 hour, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, or whatever. We have got to, the counterpart that's there in the trenches has got to dig deep in the trenches and come up with a serious game plan as to how they're going to deal with elevating their energies high. As we go through this process, we cannot continue to give these karmics any more power. We got to find a way that I watched on, her name is Patricia McNeely from Chicago. She said, I am a Blu-ray twin from Chicago, Illinois. She cracked me. I said, it ain't no F on Illinois. It's just Illinois, not Illinois. But anyway, that's judging. I know I'm wrong. But with her, she's always stating that with the karmics, that, you know, we just cannot give them power at all. And we have to remember that what their purpose is just to come in, to get the blessing, and to come on out with that. That's pretty much on it on that one. I'm trying to see. And then also I want to, maybe that thought might come to me, is that you got to love the one you're with. That song came to me by Luther Vandross song. And I said, you know what? We've got to come to the point that we keep on looking for things to get better. When my twin comes, I'll be able to love and be able to do this journey when they're here. But we've got to learn to get to that point where as we are loving ourselves, we are loving the people that come up and show up in our lives. Because you know what, to be real with you, The universe is not going off your hair, and I see it, and I don't know where it's at. The universe is not going to bless us with anything else until we learn to appreciate where we are. It's just not. Okay? It's just not going to bless us with anything else. We have got to get to the point where that we are finding the love where we are. We're loving ourselves. We're loving the people, the situations that even though we might not like X, Y, and Z or our living conditions, but we got to love the heck out of it. Somebody say you got to love the hell out of it, which is true until you get to that point where it finds the universe say, okay, you know what, I think that's finished with that karmic situation. Let them go on here and move on into the next. But until we come to fully acceptance as to where we are, love where we are, love ourselves first, love what has been presented to us, I think at that point, then we will be able to go on to the next level. That is pretty much my semi-rant, my coffee fireside chat, I'll call it, for us as twin flames, because I'm noticing things, and those are the things that I felt that hit me in my gut, and I figured that if it resonates with me, it pretty much resonates with my subscribers. I'm trying to really remember. She said something that might come to me in the other one. Pat Neely, Neely, I think, had said about the twin flames, the karmic things. I know they come in for a reason, and it's not to stay. I know even from my own experience with that, but I've told you all, and you've probably seen that on other videos, that me and my karmic situations, what I had, or people came in, they lasted really for a day. I got it. I said, okay, I know what you're doing. You want me to introspect and look more inside to myself. Okay, bye. I got that. This one, next one comes in. He's coming talk about, we going to go on a date. Okay, I'm fine. Okay, when we go on a date? All right, we going to go on a date this Thursday. I'm going to come pick you up at XYZ time. So I said, okay. He come, Thursday come, he ain't dead, XYZ time. So I said, okay, I know what your lesson is. If you ain't coming in, you really showing me your commitment. If you can't be committed to the time that you said you are, then that's a lesson for me to learn to pay attention to your actions. And I said, okay. So he called back, oh, I'm sorry. The next following day, I got tired of. I said, that's all right. God bless you. We don't have to. That's a sign to me that this is not going to work. And God bless you in your ongoing journey. And that was it. Did he keep on trying? Yeah. But for me, the lesson was learned, and it was over for me because I got my lesson. No. You can't commit to what you're saying. I already learned that with the divine masculine. You come back with that same lesson? No. That's it on that. Okay, it might come to me in the next one. If it does come to me by Pat McNeely, what she said about the karmas and the twin flames, I'll say it in the next one. So I'll say, until then, all right, stay elevated, stay motivated, and stay enlightened. Namaste, Namago.